What's up guys, it's Rico here, back with another Reverse 1999 video. Now, I know I'm a little late to the party on this one, however, it is day 5 today. And what does that mean? Well, it means that through the daily login reward event, you're going to be getting this item called the Carrier Wave Carrier. And what this item is going to do is that it's a consumable that's going to give you a free 6-star Psychube of your choice out of the current 6-star pool. So I'm just going to be going through each one briefly, talking about why they might be good, and just to give some recommendations of what you might want for your team. So if we just go through the selector, you can see that you can get one of 7 6-star Psychubes. You'll see you can get either Brave New World, Hopscotch, Her Second Life, Blasphemer of Night, Thunderous Applause, that Inquisitive Deer, and his Bounden Duty. And so for most players, this selector is going to be very important because it's where you can get your first 6-star Psychube. Because of that, it's very important to be able to get a 6-star for your main DPS unit, just so they can do more damage. Later on down the line, then you can start prioritizing another Psychube for your support or your healer. And so let's just start talking about them, starting with Brave New World. Brave New World is, in my opinion, maybe the best 6-star Psychube that you can choose. Not only does this Psychube give you ultimate might, but after using an ultimate, its ability allows you to do more damage on your next incantation or your skill. So this Psychube is going to be very generically good on many DPSs, and this is actually the one that I'm going to be getting because I am using Eternity, because she likes to do big damage on her ultimate, and also she can be used in some solo situations where she's going to be carding a lot too. So in those scenarios, she will be able to spam her ultimate a lot and subsequently get the damage buff on her skill cards. So just very good, highly recommended. It's super generic and can be put on your DPS or even a sub DPS support. I guarantee that if you do pick this one, then you won't regret it. So now the next one is Hopscotch. So now Hopscotch is a little bit like the opposite to Brave New World. Instead of Ultimate Might as a stat, it will give you Incantation Might as a stack, and you'll get Ultimate Might on the ability. So how this Psychube will work is that you will be able to get 4 stacks by killing 4 enemies, and then you will get the max Ultimate Might stat from the ability, which is 32% at 4 stacks. And so just like Brave New World, this is going to be another one that's going to be generically good, great for your DPS. And also something else I forgot to mention in Brave New World is that both of these Psychubes also have 370 attack, which is pretty high. And so obviously if you're putting this on your DPS, they're just going to be doing more damage. It's all about damage, damage, and more damage. That's what you're mainly focusing on with your Psychube selection in the early game. Now for the next Psychube, we have Her Second Life. And immediately off the bat, I'm going to say to not get this one, at least in the early game. This one gets a very low priority from me because it's a very healing focused Psychube. It's not going to be as good as Brave New World or Hopscotch because it doesn't really have that high attack stat. It does have the 10% attack, but you're going to get a lot more value from those Incantation Mights and the Ultimate Mights that you can get from the other two. The ability for this is to heal all your allies when you use your ultimate, and so this one might be good for like your healer in your team, not as good as your DPS. So I would definitely try and get this at some point, just not right now. So just maybe later down the line, when you eventually have to get a Psychube for your healer, you can pick this one. So now we have Blasphemer of Night. So Blasphemer of Night is a very tricky Psychube to make work in a team. The reason why is going to be because of that ability where you need the target to have 2 or more negative status effects so that you can get the damage up that this Psychube provides. This is a case where, while yes, the Psychube is very strong, it might not be very generic. It's going to be kind of annoying to keep 2 or more negative statuses onto an enemy. Theoretically, it can work very well on some characters like Druvis or Sotheby, but most characters can only apply one negative status at one time. I would personally not recommend it, and I would rather go for some of the more generic options. Again, Brave New World, Hopscotch. I think this one is up to preference. If you choose to get this Psychube, then do know that you will have to do a lot of preparation with how you build your team and play it. Up next is Thunderous Applause. Now, this Psychube has been a little bit up to debate. That comes down to this Psychube being crit based. There aren't many characters that are like crit based right now. Mainly, I hear people saying this Psychube will be good on characters like Lilia, Charlie, or Regulus. You also have to make note that this Psychube has the lowest attack stat out of every Psychube here. So you may not be getting as much upfront damage. You're going to be very heavily reliant on hitting those crits, which to me, it feels like it might be a little bit inconsistent. So it's just to take note that if you do get this one, it may not be good on every single character. Now we have that Inquisitive Deer. This one is also a healing Psychube. It has 360 attack, and it also has healing done % as a main stat. Its ability is that it will heal the character with the lowest HP on your team whenever your carrier uses a basic incantation debuff. So immediately with this Psychube, I can think of character like Sotheby making very good use of this, being able to apply debuffs on her skills, and subsequently healing her team. I think she's a unit that will make very good use out of this. Again though, this is up to you to decide if you really want the Psychube for like your healer. It's not going to be as good on a DPS. And lastly, we have his Bounden Duty. If you look at this Psychube, we will see it has 410 attack, so very, very high attack. And its ability will allow the carrier to heal whenever it defeats an enemy. It also has 12% damage bonus on its main stat, which is pretty nice. You can get a lot of value out of the healing from this Psychube, which is why I do kind of recommend it. It's not going to be the best for full attack, despite having a high attack stat, so your mileage may vary. It is generic though, which is a big plus. So in summary, I think at this stage of the game, it's very important to get a 6-star Psychube for your main DPS. That way they can just carry you throughout the game as you progress, and later on, you'll be able to have an easier time getting those points so you can get the 6-star Psychubes for your other characters. So that's all I have today for today's video on Reverse 1999, just covering the 6-star Psychube Selector. As I mentioned before, I think I will be getting Brave New World from this Selector and using it on Eternity, just so she can do a lot more damage with her skills and spam her ultimate, especially in those solo scenarios. But let me know down below what Psychube you picked or what you're going to pick. For more info, you can find the link down in the description for the Perdwin website, where you can find their tier list, characters, overviews, and guides. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. I'm Rico, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.